Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel Law Point. This is Reenu Thomas, your host for this episode. Imagine you want to buy a house, but you do not have all the money upfront. That's when mortgage comes into picture. It's like a friendly agreement with the bank. They lend you the money and in return you promise that if you can't pay it back, they can take your house. So here your house is collateral to secure a loan. The Transfer of Property Act is a rule book that outlines the rights of both the borrower and the lender. We have with us Mrs. Praseena Elizabeth Joseph, advocate on record from the Supreme Court of India, to explain mortgage and its details. So let's watch this episode.
Mortgage is a kind of security given by borrower when he is getting loan from the lender. That means the purpose of mortgage is to secure the payment of money advanced as loan by the lender to the borrower. Mortgage is a kind of transfer of property interest from the borrower to the lender. Here it is unlike sale, gift, etc. because here the ownership right is not transferred but a limited interest in the immobile property is transferred from the borrower to the lender. For example, Mr. X took a home loan from bank. Here bank demand papers of his property as security. This property papers constitute mortgage. Section 58 of the Transfer of Property Act defines what is a mortgage. Now let's see what are the essential elements in a mortgage. The first element is parties to the mortgage. Parties to the mortgage are the lender and borrower. The lender is called the mortgagee and the borrower is called the mortgager. That means the person who is transferring his interest in the property to be given as a security is the mortgager, that is the borrower, and the person who is receiving the interest in the property of the borrower is called the mortgagee. The second important element is transfer of interest. Here the borrower is transferring interest in specific immobile property to the lender, that is the mortgagee. Here it is not the transfer of ownership right from the borrower to the lender, but it is a limited interest in the property which is transferred. Peculiar feature is that the transfer of interest in this property is made with a hope of taking the full interest back once the loan is repaid. The third important element of a mortgage is there should be a specific immobile property. That means the transfer of interest in any mobile property is not sufficient for mortgage. Then the transfer of interest, if it's a mobile property like a jewelry, then it is called pledge. Here to constitute mortgage, it should be an immobile property which is given as security for repayment of loan. Now this property need to be specifically marked with size, location, boundaries, etc. Fourth important element of a mortgage is there should be a purpose. What is that purpose? There are three important purposes. One is for the loan repayment or for the performance of a contract or for an existing or future debt. Loan repayment means the borrower has taken a loan and to repay the loan back, he is giving some mortgage as a security. Performance of a contract means a person must have entered into a contract and to fulfill the contractual obligation, he might take out a mortgage. For example, home loan. Here there is a contract entered between the seller and the buyer. To fulfill the contractual obligation, the buyer is taking a home loan wherein he gives the property as a collateral. Existing or future debt means a businessman might use a mortgage to secure more funds for expansion of his business. Showing in the record of the company as a debt for the purpose of investing in the growth of the company. Now, the last and the important element in a mortgage is there shall be consideration when the mortgage is executed. That means you cannot create a mortgage when there is no advancement of money or debt or performance of contract, etc. Now, it's important to note herein that the actual possession of the property mortgaged or given as a security or a collateral does not go from the borrower to the lender. It belongs to the borrower only. If the borrower is in a position to repay back the loan amount, then he will get the full ownership, the full right, full title, full interest in the property back with him. If in case the borrower fails to repay back the loan amount, then the lender gets ample right to sell the property mortgaged with him and take the money which he receives after the sale to adjust the loan amount. We know that when there is a sale happens, we execute sale deed. When there is a gift happens of an immobile property, there will be a gift deed. Just like that, when there is a mortgage which is created, there will be a mortgage deed, which is a legal instrument or a document which lays down the terms and conditions of a mortgage. The mortgage deed lays down the rights and obligations of the borrower, that is the mortgager, and the lender, that is the mortgagee. This mortgage deed is very important because it legalizes the lender to sell the property in case the borrower fails to repay back the loan. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.